Welcome back to the Warner's Kitchen. We have a great recipe for you today I think you're going to enjoy. Girls, what are we going to make today?
Cheesecake.
That's right. Who doesn't like cheesecake? And after you see what we put in it, you'll know why people like it so much. So girls, what's the first step in the process?
Crust.
You got to make the crust, and it's really easy. So come on over here. I'll put Peppy down. And I've already made the crust, but in the directions, you have certain ingredients. We have some graham cracker crusts that have been you can use a food processor or a rolling pin, just get them really fine. And to that, you're going to add some sugar, some brown sugar, and butter, melted butter. You mix that all together with a fork, and then you put it in one of these spring pan forms. And you've got to really have one of these. If you don't, you need to pick one up at your local market. It springs open later so we can pull it out. But you can see that I have already put the graham cracker crust in there, and because of the butter, you can push it around and it sticks up on the side. So you want to spread it around with your fingers, or you can use a jar or a glass just to press it down and to push it up against the sides. And as you see, it doesn't have to go all the way up. It should just kind of climb up the part of the side here, because when we pour the cheesecake in, when we take it out, we want to see that graham cracker crust around. So I'm going to just finish this up for a minute, and then we'll do the next step. All right, we have the crust well spread out in our spring pan form, and so, girls, what's the next step of the process?
The filling.
The filling, the good stuff. So come on over here, and we'll work on the filling. Now, I mentioned before that I'm going to tell you what's in this and why it's so good. We have 32 ounces of cream cheese. This is 8 ounces, so it's 4 of these, and we have those in the bowl here. The other things that we're going to put in here, yes, a cup of sugar. That's going to be good. And over here we have salt, just a little salt, some vanilla extract, and 3/4 or 2/3 of a cup of sour cream, and 4 eggs. Now you can see I have 3 of the eggs slightly beaten already, and I'm just going to break the final egg, the 4th egg, and I will just lightly beaten that, not too much, just get it beaten a little bit. And so now we have the eggs that are just slightly beaten, and they're ready to go. That's the last thing we add. And so here's the process. We have the 4 packages of the cream cheese. This is 8 ounces, so there's 4 of them, and it has to be at room temperature. If you pull it out of the fridge at the last minute, it's not going to work. It needs to be softened. And so we're going to mix that up and add the sugar, and then we're going to add a little salt, the vanilla extract, the sour cream, and finally the eggs. We just mix that all up and pour it in our pan and bake it. That's it. So I'm going to start the process, and it might make a little noise, and I'll probably just do this and come back to you, but let's get started. All right, I have been beating this for just about a minute. I just got it soft, and I'm going to start this to show you. So now it's nice and soft, and to that I'm going to add the sugar. The 1 cup of sugar, so I'm just going to pour that in, and I'm going to mix that in. Okay, got that mixed in. Now the recipe calls just for a little bit of salt. It just, sometimes a lot of desserts will have a little salt, and really I'm just going to put like a pinch or 2 in, and that's all the salt. And it calls for just a little over a teaspoon of vanilla. Now, we like vanilla, and you can use as much as you like. So I'm going to put a couple of teaspoons of vanilla extract in. That'll give it a nice flavor. And then we have 2/3 of a cup of sour cream. And so I'm just going to get that put in here. Get all that goodness out. And now I'll just make some noise here for a second. All right, now in a lot of recipes like this, even if you're using a stand mixer, they'll tell you to push down the stuff on the sides. So I'm just going to take real quickly take a spatula and push down everything that's worked up on the side. There we go. Now the final ingredient are the 4 eggs that are slightly beaten. So I'm going to put those in and mix that up. Okay, I'm going to stop real quick, and once again I'm going to just scrape down the sides of the bowl just to get all the goodness mixed in. If it weren't for the raw eggs, this would be a pretty good thing just to eat with your spoon, but we obviously aren't going to do that. Okay, so that's it. Now we have our wonderful cheesecake mixture that we're just going to pour right into our pan, right over the crust. And by the way, you don't pre-bake this crust in this recipe. That all happens in the one baking. And so here we go. All this goodness is getting pushed into the Springform pan. That's enough. I'll just kind of get the top a little smooth. And that's it. Now I have an oven preheated to 325 degrees. And I'm going to put this in just a minute, but there's one other thing I'm going to get ready and show you, so I'll be back in just a second. Okay, just in case we have a leak, we probably won't, but just in case, they recommend you use a cookie sheet with some aluminum foil on the bottom and just place it right on the aluminum foil. Now this does not require a water bath. Some of you may be thinking, wait a minute, I've seen some recipes where you have to have it in water, but not this one. So that's all we do. We're going to put it in the oven now for about 70 or 75 minutes. It's a low 325 degrees for a longer period of time. So we'll put it in now. And I'll be back in about 70 minutes and we'll take a look and see what we have. All right, 70 minutes is up. Let's pull this thing out of the oven. All right, here we go. Got a little brown on top. It's got a little crack. You know, the purists don't like cracks, but you know, it's still going to taste really wonderful. They say you should leave it sitting out like this for a while. And after a bit, we're going to take a knife and we're going to just cut around the edges, just loosen it from the side and let it sit out for about, 3 or 4 hours, and then we're going to put it in the fridge for at least 6 hours and preferably overnight. So we'll be back later. All right, after the cheesecake has been out of the oven for a time, it could even be 10 minutes, you want to take a sharp knife and very carefully go around the edges. And so very carefully we're just going to go up and down around the edges to separate the crust, the graham cracker crust, from the edge of the Springform pan. Just like that. And now we're going to put this in the refrigerator for at least 6 hours, in our case overnight. And tomorrow is the 4th of July and we're going to have a celebration here, and we're going to actually serve this tomorrow. Then we'll have our taste test. So for now we're just going to put this in the fridge for overnight and try it out tomorrow. All right, we made the cheesecake yesterday and today's the 4th of July, so we thought we'd delay the taste test to today because my family's over here. So take a look at this beauty. I baked it, but my delightful wife, she made it beautiful. So we're going to take off the little flags and stars here and we're going to cut into it, see what it looks like. Here we go. There we go. Now cheesecake is rich, so we'll make a little piece here. And we'll get the scoop here and look at that. Looking pretty good. So we're gonna put that on the plate here. And here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna serve everybody and then we'll get a taste test from the group. So we'll see you in a few minutes. So here we are, 4th of July celebration. We've had our meal and now it's dessert. So cheesecake. Guys, what do you think of the cheesecake?
Delicious.
Obviously,
Awesome.
the cheesecake is good, okay? So I hope you give this recipe a try. If you liked this presentation, give me a thumbs up, click on the subscribe, click on the little bell, and you'll be notified every time we post a new recipe. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time from the Warner's Kitchen. Right, everybody?
Yeah.
All right.